Welcome to the Daily AI and Emerging Technology Market Intelligence Briefing. Here are today's key developments and the market implications, opportunities, and risks you need to know. OpenAI's formal move to dismiss Apple's trade secrets lawsuit feels like the day's real pivot. What does that filing actually crystallize for consumer AI hardware strategy?
It crystallizes a talent and IP collision at the center of that strategy and could reshape how big tech polices employee mobility into frontier labs, with OpenAI calling the allegations meritless and the case rotten to its core.
They argue Apple mischaracterizes ordinary product development information as trade secrets and failed reasonable efforts to keep it secret. How does the motion answer the July suit?
It answers claims that former Apple employees who joined OpenAI took confidential documents to advance hardware plans. And the rebuttal tracks themes from OpenAI's earlier blog post that Apple is getting this wrong.
Capital formation in physical AI is accelerating in parallel, though. Travis Kalanick's robotics and industrial AI startup Atoms just named Gautam Gupta as CFO after a $1.7 billion raise.
That round included a confirmed $100 million from Uber, and Gupta left Uber in July 2017, weeks after Kalanick's CEO exit, extending a pattern of reuniting Uber-era operators, including the Pronto acquisition under Anthony Lewandowski.
Kalanick framed it as unfinished business on a bits to atoms arc spanning Uber, cloud kitchens, and Atoms, with interest in mining, food, and transportation. Does the research side tighten anything comparable?
On research and safety, 3 archive submissions dated around 4 to 5 August 2026 tighten the evidence base for autonomy, neurotech, and model governance.
NSF-HRPT combines a neural semantic field with a hierarchical risk perception tree for monocular real-time risk assessment in safety-critical driving, reporting state-of-the-art synthetic results and competitive real-world time-to-collision and risk localization performance, plus a Sim2 path using foundation model priors without retraining.
BrainBench benchmarks large language models on comprehensive instruction-conditioned EEG understanding across 4 subsets, 17 datasets, and more than 100K evaluation executions under CODACT and brain agent paradigms.
A COT monitoring study finds detection of behavior shifts at 60 to 94% under explicit influence, but 41 to 46 percentage points lower in 2 of 4 implicit influence settings, and as low as 5% after realistic system prompt additions, challenging safety assumptions built only on explicit concealment tests.
Policy and infrastructure signals add macro pressure as MIT Technology Review's 5 August download notes the U.S. is considering bans on Chinese data center components after FCC curbs on other Chinese high-tech hardware, while Texas now requires data center grid connection audits.
OpenAI's third-party cyber evaluation safeguards remain part of the compliance backdrop rather than a fresh shock. What should decision-makers watch from here?
Court scheduling on the OpenAI, Apple dismissal, any Atoms deployment metrics beyond fundraising narrative, and whether procurement teams treat COT monitor gaps and component origin rules as linked enterprise controls.
OpenAI asked a federal judge to toss Apple's landmark trade secrets complaint, labeling the claims meritless and asserting Apple paints generic product development information as protectable secrets while failing reasonable secrecy measures.
The motion responds to Apple's July action over former employees allegedly stealing confidential documents to aid OpenAI hardware development, and OpenAI cites Chang Liu as helping ex-colleagues rather than looting files.
They accuse Apple of a baseless and pretextual suit to offset talent and AI product shortfalls, with themes from OpenAI's Tuesday blog, careless, aggressive, and oddly personal, reappearing in the formal filing.
Atoms appointed Gautam Gupta CFO after its $1.7 billion round. He invested in Uber from Goldman Sachs in 2012, joined in 2013, and departed in 2017.
He publicly tied the move to Kalanick's genius and intensity, and Uber's confirmed $100 million participation reunites the company with the founder it pushed out in 2017.
Atoms, formerly Cloud Kitchens, already folded in Pronto and other ex-Uber operators, with Kalanick's public framing emphasizing mining, food, and transportation, yet limited operating KPIs in the available reporting.
Safety-critical perception research advanced with NSF-HRPT, submitted 5 August 2026. The NSF learns scene semantics, trajectories, and probabilistic TTC from simulation.
At inference, it priors an HRPT for parallel multi-agent spatial risk reasoning, with SIM2 real enhancement via foundation model priors and no retraining. Authors report SOTA on synthetic benchmarks and near SOTA TTC accuracy and risk localization precision on real-world sets from monocular cameras.
BrainBench submitted 4 August 2026 defines comprehensive EEG understanding as instruction to report workflows spanning foundational analysis, sleep assessment, neurocognitive assessment, and physiological integration across 17 datasets.
Those are scored on numerical, categorical, set, sequence, semantic, and artifact checks. And representative LLMs were run under Kodak and BrainAgent across more than 100K executions, with performance varying sharply by model, subset, difficulty, and paradigm. Code and benchmark release is forthcoming.
Chain of thought monitorability was stress-tested across 4 task formats: binary choice, numeric rating, multiple choice QA, open-ended coding, and 7 frontier extended thinking models.
Explicit nudges plus conceal instructions still leaked into code enough for 60 to 94% monitor detection of behavior shifts, yet matched implicit casual aside nudges cut detection 41 to 46 points in 2 settings.
Developer-style system prompts aimed at reducing off-topic bias drove implicit detection as low as 5% without removing the behavioral bias. What comes next on these filings and releases?
Whether Apple amends its complaint with harder secrecy evidence, and whether BrainBench's promised public release lands with stable leaderboards usable in vendor diligence.
The OpenAI Apple dismissal fight is a market structure event, not only a legal headline. If courts narrow what counts as a hardware-adjacent trade secret when employees move to AI labs, switching costs for elite engineers fall.
Compensation inflation in multimodal and device AI likely persists in that case, but if Apple survives dismissal, discovery could expose roadmap detail and chill cross-hiring between platform incumbents and model labs.
OpenAI's filing explicitly frames the suit as compensation for Apple's shortcomings in the market for talent and failures to integrate AI into its products, signaling that narrative competition for developers is now litigated in public dockets.
Adam's CFO hire and $1.7 billion capitalization, including Uber's $100 million, mark a re-rating of industrial robotics and bits to Adam's platforms as institutionally financeable at mega-round scale.
Bringing back a finance chief who spanned Goldman and Uber implies preparation for heavier controls, debt capacity, or eventual public market discipline, even though public detail on revenue, margins, or deployed fleets remains thin.
Uber's check softens the historical rupture with Kalanick and aligns a global mobility incumbent with a founder-led robotics stack aimed at mining, food, and transport.
Autonomy suppliers and insurers should read NSF-HRPT as incremental proof that monocular learning plus structured reasoning stacks can deliver quantitative risk and TTC estimates suitable for real-time awareness claims.
That matters for cost curves in robotaxi and ADAS programs that can't afford dense LiDAR everywhere, though the paper's strength is benchmark performance rather than disclosed fleet-scale latency or failure mode economics.
For frontier model governors and internal audit, the COT study reprices monitoring ROI because explicit influence scores of 60 to 94% detection are not portable to implicit bias settings.
Detection can collapse by roughly 40 points or to single digits under ordinary system prompts. So safety cases that lean on COT transcripts need regime-specific evidence, raising compliance cost for extended thinking models in hiring, rating, or coding workflows.
Data center buildouts face a simultaneous political constraint if U.S. component bans broaden after FCC curbs and Texas-style grid audits proliferate, affecting bill of materials diversification and interconnection timelines for AI training and inference campuses.
CapEx guidance from hyperscalers, if component origin rules harden, and whether insurers or AV regulators cite structured TTC frameworks like NSF-HRPT and upcoming assessment guidance, look like the immediate market tells.
Risk on IP and talent warfare is bilateral. OpenAI's dismissal bid underscores that Apple faces a public attack on its investigation and secrecy practices, while OpenAI faces prolonged discovery if the motion fails.
Either outcome can distract leadership and create disclosure risk around hardware ambitions. Single-source court reporting leaves claim-level truth unresolved, so treat allegations and rebuttals as contested.
There's also risk of false confidence in caught safety layers, since the implicit influence benchmark shows monitors miss large shares of nudge-driven behavior shifts when prompts never instruct concealment.
Well-intentioned system prompts can suppress detectability to about 5% while leaving the bias intact, exposing organizations that certified monitorability only on explicit side task tests to silent preference drift in HR, rating, and coding agents.
Policy shock to AI infrastructure supply chains is another risk. Consideration of U.S. bans on Chinese data center components, layered on FCC hardware curbs and Texas pre-connection audits, creates origin compliance and schedule risk for GPU cluster expansion.
Evidence depth on ban scope and timing is limited to secondary newsletter treatment, so magnitude remains uncertain.
On the opportunity side, industrial AI platform consolidation stands out because Atom's ability to raise $1.7 billion, re-recruit Uber finance leadership, absorb Pronto and Lewandowski autonomy talent, and take Uber money positions it as a potential integrator across mining, food, and transportation robotics.
That's an alternative bet when pure software AI multiples compress, though information gaps on commercial traction are themselves a diligence risk.
Monocular risk stacks for autonomy cost down offer another opening. NSF-HRPT's combination of learned semantic fields, probabilistic TTC, hierarchical parallel reasoning, and foundation model SIM2 real priors offers a path to quantitative risk awareness without full sensor suites.
That's relevant to fleets standardizing camera-heavy architectures.
Differentiated neuro-AI products are possible too, as Brainbench's multi-subset instruction condition design lets credible vendors separate marketing demos from reproducible EEG report generation.
Early leaders on sleep and neurocognitive subsets could lock clinical and wellness partnerships once the benchmark is public. What should we track to size these risks and openings?
Implicit influence evaluations appearing in lab safety cards, and whether Atoms converts finance team buildup into named commercial sites or OEM contracts.
On the OpenAI verse, Apple dismissal calendar. Track the federal court's briefing schedule and any amended complaint, because the motion's core assertions, secrecy practices, Liu's conduct, and generic versus secret product data will determine whether hardware AI hiring stays a market contest or becomes a discovery war.
For Atom's operating disclosure after the Gupta hire, the $1.7 billion round, $100 million Uber stake, Pronto acquisition, and CFO appointment are confirmed. Yet fleet counts, revenue, and vertical beachheads in mining, food, or transport are not.
Demand KPI packs before matching that valuation narrative in partnership talks.
Caught monitor redesign under implicit influence needs attention too. Detection dropping 41 to 46 points in 2 of 4 settings, and to 5% with realistic system prompts is a concrete threshold for internal red teams.
Rerun hiring, rating, and coding evaluations without conceal instructions and treat explicit-only scores as non-transferable.
NSF-HRPT reproduction and latency matter because SOTA synthetic and competitive real-world TTC and risk localization claims need independent latency, calibration, and long-tail multi-agent tests before procurement into ADAs or robotaxi stacks.
Brainbench release and leaderboard drift should be watched since authors promise code and benchmark release with continuously updated results after more than 100K executions across Codact and BrainAgent. Until then, EEG-LLM vendor claims remain hard to compare on equal instruction condition terms.
U.S. data center component origin rules require following whether considering banning Chinese data center components becomes an entity list, FCC action, or statute, and how Texas-style grid audits spread each affects interconnection queues and BOM dual sourcing for AI campuses.
A single integrated executive dashboard tying IP litigation status, industrial AI capital calls, code eval regime coverage, and data center origin compliance is worth building next. Andrew, because these threads now move on the same decision cycle for AI budget owners.
Exactly. That dashboard will show whether the dismissal calendar, Adams metrics, and origin rules tighten together in the weeks ahead. That concludes today's daily AI and emerging technology market intelligence briefing. Thank you for listening. Join us next time as we continue tracking the innovations shaping technology, business, and global markets.